Do you have a passport? If you don't, I strongly urge you to apply for one and get one. We've had passports continually for many, many years. And even if you don't feel that you're going to travel internationally, uh, it's a great idea to have a passport in this crazy, crazy, uncertain world. Don't look at it as any kind of Orwellian restriction. There are levels of that in this, but a passport is very important. You don't know when you'll want to travel abroad. So, Constance and I, the reason I'm bringing it up is because Constance and I uh, had to renew our passports. And when you do renew them, you have to send your old passport in to get it replaced. And our old passports, especially mine, were just filled with wonderful, nostalgic, exotic stamps from all over the world. And it's just a very fun thing. And when Constance's new passport was returned to her, her old passport with a hole punched in it was returned also. But mine hasn't arrived yet. They say it's coming, but and I tell you, before they sent this back, I was, even though I wasn't planning on going anywhere or doing anything abroad, I was antsy until I got my passport back. So, like they say, your journey begins with a U.S. passport, or what a passport, or wherever you are going. Well, that's my public service notice. Today we're going to talk about homemade monastery, and it's kind of poignant for me today because I mention details of our home here in Costa Mesa. And as you probably know, uh, we're being, I guess, forced, because it's certainly not our wishes, uh, to be out of here in 60 days. Uh, but that'll just mean an opening door to a new adventure for us. But we love this place. Uh, and we've been here like 25 years. But anyway, I want to show you the picture that's included in this chapter. And it's sort of hard for you to see. In the book, it's easier to see. And the book will be out in a new edition sometime this summer. So don't spend $1,000 buying a first edition. And I'm going to read you the caption first. The homemade altar of St. Constance. We have a tiny loft in our home that serves as our library and guest bedroom. It's also where Constance meditates each morning after doing Tai Chi in the garden. The altar honors a broad assortment of our household gods, patron saints, and sacred objects. Take a look at it again there. And maybe I'll do that. You might see a little bit more. I think that one big picture there, years ago I bought Constance a star, or named a star after her. So there's a star up there in the constellation of Corvus, the crow, of St. Constance in the Well, or St. Constance of the Well, Our Lady of Perpetual Motion, if you ever want to look that up. Anyway, chapter 17, Homemade Monastery. The little epigram is from John Keats. My imagination is a monastery, and I am its monk. Let me begin this chapter by telling you that throughout our 47 years so far, it's now 52, of marriage, Constance and I have both routinely performed yogic and magical exercises and meditations. In our hippie days in southern Oregon, we observed regular days of fasting and silence. We each have our own household altars and meditation areas. We each have our own personal mantras, prayers, and rituals that we use before meals, at bedtimes, and upon arising. Daily spiritual practices and disciplines are nothing new to us. So when Constance suggested we play monastery, I enthusiastically agreed to do it. We kept up the program for nearly 3 years. Did it help our magic or our marriage? We can't say for certain. But we're still magicians, and we're still married. Here's the rule of the monastery of St. Constance. Sunrise Resh. We adore the sun at dawn by standing together facing east and reciting the morning section of Liber Resh, a solar adoration recommended for daily use by thelemic magicians. Hail unto thee, who art Ra in thy rising, even unto thee who art Ra in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens in thy bark at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of night. Morning bell. Constance rings the bell. Our bell is a small brass bell we've used in personal rituals since we were first married. We're very sentimental about those things. Morning period of silence. The ringing of the bell signals a period of complete silence. Any communication between us is strictly nonverbal. The silent period usually lasts from 2 to 3 hours until breakfast is prepared and we're ready to eat. Until then, we proceed with our morning devotions in strict silence. If you've never tried this, it's not only relaxing, but oddly liberating. If nothing else, it quickly proves just how much of our daily chatter is completely useless, unproductive, and hurtful. Morning devotions. After taking turns in the bathroom, we begin our morning devotions. Constance begins by lighting a stick of incense and moving through the entire house in a counterclockwise direction, sensing and blessing each room. The sensing is accompanied by a profoundly simple ceremony, a breathing technique she developed whereby she projects her love with each exhalation of her breath and accepts the love of the universe with each inhalation. The house duly blessed and smelling great, she then retires upstairs to the loft, which also serves as my library, where she has a small floor altar set up. There she lights a candle and sits down to perform pranayama. She ends her devotional period each morning by reading from what she calls her desert island books. And here's the footnote. For most of our monastery years, these texts have included the Holy Books of Thelema by Aleister Crowley, Treasure House of Images by J.F.C. Fuller, Metaphysical Meditations by Paramahansa Yogananda, and The Art of Peace by Morihei Ueshiba. I'm sure I tortured that pronunciation. Constance then stands up and opens the loft window and blesses the entire neighborhood and the world. She blows out the candle and goes downstairs to do laundry, feed the cat, and make our breakfast. I told you she was a saint. While Constance does her thing in the house, I take my morning devotionals to the backyard patio. There I perform for all the neighbors to witness, a not-so-quiet banishing pentagram ritual, and then do a few stretches and sit down for a period of pranayama, followed by mentally chanting a mantra that I have developed. During the 3 years we played monastery, my daily routine expanded and evolved considerably. My banish developed into a combined ceremony of invocation and banishing that I use to this day. My meditations continue until I hear the bell, which signals the end of the period of silence and breakfast. Breakfast. Constance insists, and who am I to argue with St. Constance, that we eat breakfast outside in the patio area of our backyard. We do this every day. The only exception to this is when it is raining hard. It's just or if it's very cold or just sprinkling, we still eat outside. Boy, we're going to miss that. Hopefully our new place will let us have something like that. Will. Before eating, we break our period of silence by saying will over our food. One of us knocks 11 times, 3, 5, 3. With our knife or spoon or chopsticks, and says, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." The other asks, "What is thy will?" The first replies, "It is my will to eat and drink." The other asks, "To what end?" The first replies, "That my body may be fortified thereby." The other asks, "To what end?" The first replies, "That I might accomplish the great work." Then both say together, "Love is the law, love under will." The first ends by saying, "Fall to," and knocks once to end the ritual. On more militant days, the answer to the second "to what end," we say, "That I may do battle in the cause of freedom according to the book of the law." After breakfast, we go about our day as we normally would if we were not playing monastery, pausing only to say resh at noon, sunset, and midnight, or as close as possible to all of those, and saying will before our meals. Now here's noon resh. Noon, or as close as possible, we stand together facing south. Remember, morning resh, we face east. Hail unto thee who art Ahathur in thy triumphing, even unto thee who art Ahathur in thy beauty, who travellest over the heavens in thy bark at the mid-course of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendour at the prow, and Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of morning. Then at sunset, or as close as possible, we stand together facing west and say, Hail unto thee who art tomb in thy setting, even unto thee who art tomb in thy joy, who travellest over the heavens in thy bark at the down-going of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendour at the prow, and Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of day. Then midnight resh. At midnight, or as close as possible, we stand together facing north and say, Hail unto thee who art Kephra in thy hiding, even unto thee who art Kephra in thy silence, who travellest over the heavens in thy bark at the midnight hour of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendour at the prow, and Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of evening. We played monastery like this for nearly 3 years, during which time our individual disciplines and devotional practices evolved considerably. Most dramatically, Constance incorporated Tai Chi to her morning practices, and I began walking, seriously walking. In doing so, I lost 150 pounds and most likely extended my life. And that will bring us to a further comment on that in chapter 18, The Demon Who Saved My Life. And that's what we'll do tomorrow. A little later on today, 1 p.m. my time. I don't know where it will be in England, but I'll be giving my Jupiter ritual workshop at Pomegranate Grove Festival, which is going on right now. I hope if you're not watching this, I hope you're attending the Pomegranate Ritual. Once again, the DuQuettes got their passport. You get yours too, so we can meet up, so we can travel in foreign countries. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.